Live from our studio here in Kokomleme, Accra, this is Joy News Today with me, Samuel Kojo. Brace coming up in this bulletin. The lawyer, or the Professor Kojo Appiagyei of the University of Ghana Faculty of Law, has described the response from the presidency to Professor Frimpong Boateng's report as disingenuous. More as leading member of the MPP, Dr. Arthur Kennedy says the report is a blot on the president's integrity. Coming up also in this bulletin, the New Patriotic Party has elected Ernest Yawenim to contest the upcoming by-election in the Kumewu constituency. Also, Muslim youth advised to conduct themselves righteously to reduce the worrying trend of deviant practices which hamper national development. These plus business and other stories coming up in this bulletin. Now, the presidency has come under a barrage of criticism for a response that has authored to the report of the former chairman of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Frimpong Boateng. Now, last week, a report by the professor sent to the Chief of Staff in 2021 was leaked to the public. In that report, the former minister accused some ranking members of the Nana-led government of active involvement in illegal mining. This report has attracted a lot of public outcry, compelling the presidency to come out to react. Now, in a release over the weekend, the presidency described the document as a catalogue of personal grievances and claims made by Professor Frimpong Boateng, intended to respond to some issues he faced as chairperson of the IMCIM. Now, let's share with you a bit of this particular report that was released over the weekend. Now, the presidency said in what the chairman of the committee sought to do, he sought to proclaim that some members of the presidency were involved in this galamsey business without any shred of evidence. Now, the report says the attention of the office of the president has been drawn to a publication in the media, ostensibly quoting from a document authored by the former Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation as chairperson of the Estual Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Now, it says at the outset, it must be pointed out that the document being discussed was not an official report formally delivered to the office of the president. On the contrary, it can only be rightly referred to as a catalogue of personal grievances and claims made by Professor Frimpong Boateng, intended to respond to some issues he faced as chairperson of the IMCIM. The document was handed to the Chief of Staff at the Office of the President on March 19th, 2021, in an informal meeting where Professor Frimpong Boateng complained about public attacks and criticisms made about his tenure as chairman of the IMCIM. This was after Professor Frimpong Boateng's tenure as minister had not been renewed by the president of the republic in his second term. Now, it is important also to point out that once Professor Frimpong Boateng makes serious allegations against some government appointees as having been involved in and supporting or interfering with the fight against illegal mining, not a single piece of evidence was adduced or presented to enable the claims to be properly investigated. Indeed, the allegations contained in the document are at best hearsay. It is instructive that since Professor Frimpong Boateng's meeting with the Chief of Staff in March 2021, he has taken no step nor acted in furtherance of the matters contained in the document. The President's commitment to fighting illegal mining is unassailable, and the Office of the President welcomes any information on illegal mining activities which provides a credible basis for investigation to be conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service. We continue to count on the cooperation of the general public. But on the AM show on Joy News on Monday, Professor Kojo Appiagyei of the University of Ghana Faculty of Law has described the report or the response from the presidency as disingenuous. Now, according to him, it will be strange for the cabinet to say it was not aware of the report presented to the Chief of Staff by Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Yeah, I think the matter was swept under the carpet because if you look at the reports, it is not just an ordinary report. It's not just an informal discussion as it is being alleged. Of course, we don't have all the complement of facts to come to a definite conclusion. But if you put the pieces together, the evidence can be corroborated to come to the conclusion that this is not just a personal rantings by the former minister about an issue that he confronted while doing his work as a minister and as part of the chair of that committee that was set up. So it is unfortunate that that is the spin that the government is putting on it. But it is obvious for well-meaning people to discern and to see that this is a deliberate attempt to sweep something under the carpet and to come up with some justification which does not seem to fly.
To come up with some justification that does not seem to fly. But what do you feel could have led to this situation? Why do you think, you say it was swept under the carpet, but why do you think that was?
Well, for a number of reasons. I think one is the obvious fact that who is running the show, the governance system that we have, who is running it, it's not just the government that has been brought to power. And so in this situation, you have some forces that work behind or are working behind the government. And it's not only peculiar to Ghana. It's as a result of the kind of democratic system that has been imposed on us. And so we have a system where people support campaigning and people need to be paid back for what they have put into the campaign exercise. And so for that matter, it's difficult for government to, expose such people. And for that matter, it creates a situation where some issues are swept under the carpet just to protect people who are in high places and who are involved in such practices. I think that is the bottom line.
Now, a former flag bearer aspirant of the governing NPP, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, says for the report to sit at the presidency for 2 years without any action is a blot on the president's integrity.
I think it's a damning, substantive, fact-filled report, and the idea that it sat on the president's desk for 2 years is unimaginable and unfathomable.
Some have said that it was presented to the chief of staff and that the president may not have seen it. Some have even gone as far as suggesting that if Professor Frimpong Boateng wanted this to gather the sort of steam he is putting out now, then he should have addressed it at the cabinet level. How do you respond to such concerns or comments?
Well, I mean, those saying that are not serious. To begin with, all around the world, everybody knows that when you hand a report to the chief of staff, it is as good as handing it to the president, unless the president wants to say he has no confidence in his chief of staff. As for presenting it at the cabinet level, at that time he had left the cabinet, so he couldn't have presented it to the cabinet. Furthermore, the report itself contains clear, unambiguous instances of him bringing up to the president the problems that the Interministerial Committee task force was having, particularly, for example, with regard to the senior minister, with regard to Sir John, with regard to a lot of others, and the president promising to address those. He didn't. So the idea that if he wanted to be serious, he would have presented it at the cabinet level, it's really a non-starter, and no serious person will say that. I think that not only that, I actually am happy that we're doing this on Joy News, because you and your reporter, Erastus Asaridonko, did some very brave reporting in which you highlighted a lot of the problems in Galamsey. There were instances where two groups of military people almost came to blows, with one group with the Interministerial Committee, another group protecting the Galamseyers. And this was aired and everybody saw it. So the idea that this report has been on the blind side of the president is really a joke and an insult both to the president's intelligence and integrity as well as to Ghanaians.
Fault both to the president's intelligence and integrity. Why do you say that?
I mean, it is obvious that those making the argument are not serving him well. You know, when you say that a president's chief of staff has had a report for 2 years, but he didn't know about it, I mean, that's really not on. And secondly, I'm also saying that the reporting by Joy FM and other news outlets should have come to the attention of the president. So the idea that he didn't know about it is really something that serious people should not claim.
Earlier today, I actually interacted with Kojo, who interestingly is a flag bearer aspirant for the MPP come November. You've been in that position before, and he said that he didn't take this as allegations. In fact, for him, they were fact. Now, do you take everything in this report by Professor Frimpong Boateng as the gospel truth?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but I would say that he has put on the table significant issues that require interrogation. I think some of them obviously are facts. Others we haven't verified. But, you know, for example, when he says that I had a problem with the senior minister and I reported him to the president said I would deal with it, you know. I had a problem with Gabi, and I reported to the president, and the president said he would deal with it. I think those can be taken as facts. I think the professor has put on the table substantive, reasonable, very verifiable facts on the table. And at this point, it is beyond speculation. And actually, it also begs the question about when the president himself pledged to put his presidency at stake to fight Galamsey, what he has done.
Now, with regards to Imperial Heritage Mining, which was, of course, mentioned in that particular report, even in the midst of a mining ban in 2018, the company was mining with a prospecting license in a forest reserve. Watch this.
We drive through roads made by these illegal miners in a once virgin restricted forest. They link one mining site to another deep in the reserve. This is the Apamprama Forest Reserve, under the watch of the Forestry Commission. Now come with me as I take you through the devastation caused by illegal mining, even within a mining ban. Many rare tree species nurtured for years have been felled with reckless abandon. At best, the miners process some into planks to construct makeshift sheds. The rest of the logs are buried deep under heaps of earth created around large uncovered pits. The destruction to these virgin forests is huge, over 15 different locations, each about the size of 10 football fields combined. Several hectares of land destroyed in this manner, deep within the forest reserve. Now, many questions arise at the moment, and some of those questions are, so this devastation went on, and the Apraman Forest Reserve sites are right here. The Forestry Commission says it had no evil, it did not see anybody bringing in heavy equipment. This has lasted for close to a year. No government official got wind of it, or nobody was prepared to even face them. At one such site in the Cobra Forest, head of security for mining firm Heritage Imperial Mining Company, ex-WO Adubuatin, told the task force it has the blessing of people he describes as high-powered to carry out operation in the area.
We are here. There's a document. No problem. A miner. Do you understand? I'm not a miner. So
in the last 5 days, a bold and relentless enforcement of the ban on small-scale mining has led to arrest of 20 Chinese nationals, 4 of them in the Diaso Forest Reserve at the weekend. 10 of the excavators have been sent to Accra and many mining settlements destroyed by the task force. Task Force Commander W1 Isaac Nyako is overwhelmed by the wanton destruction of forest.
Indeed, this is the largest. In fact, I don't even know how to start and how to end. I'm even shocked seeing the ground like this. The largest so far at this very site.
Leader of the Interministerial Task Force, Nana Jekum, says the fight will continue. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Now, Awula Sewa, the coordinator of Eco-Conscious Citizens GH, says she's saddened by the development so far, describing the response from the presidency as laughable.
Saddened and extremely disappointed. First of all, I'm grateful to the press yourselves. I'm grateful to the previous speakers. I think they've said it all. There's nothing much for me to add. It's just beyond words that the presidency has sat on this report. And the kind of what it has put out is, I don't want to use the word, but it's laughable. These are serious allegations that have been put out. We've seen the facts. Why hasn't anything been done until now? The only reason something is being done now is that it has been exposed. Has it not been exposed? It will be sitting on somebody's desk, which shows that we do not care about our environment. We have absolutely no interest in our environment. All we care about is destroying the environment for what? For gold? It's just disappointing. That's all I can say. Well, I think immediately there needs to be action taken. He named people. We could have asked the professor for further and better particulars, but I think a lot of information was inside the document. You could have put an end to what was going on and suspend these officers. I have to say that the Forestry Commission has serious questions to answer. We do know that Mr. Aloti said a while back that he had no objections to mining. It's like the firefighter saying that he has no objections to arsonists working. I think he needs another job. The mandate of the Forestry Commission is to protect our forests, not to open it up for mining. Second of all, there's been a ban which is not being enforced. But please, we should ask ourselves, why do we even issue prospecting licenses for forest reserves? Forest reserves are to be left intact. So what is the point? What is the logic in issuing prospecting licenses when we know that it's being used to mine? So I would say that the action to be taken was enforce the bans, and these highly placed persons should lose their positions of influence until this whole investigation is completed. I keep on saying there must be an independent inquiry, because we know that there's involvement on both sides of the political divide, and there's no real seriousness in getting to the bottom of it. The only reason why we are having this conversation is because the document was exposed. Otherwise, it would still be sitting in somebody's drawer and nothing would have been done about it.
Now to other stories. The New Patriotic Party has elected NSTL and NIM to contest the upcoming by-election in the Kumawo constituency. He attained 195 votes to beat closest contestant Ama Sewa, who polled 181 votes. Dr. Da Costa Boaji polled 27 votes, while Kwame appeared Kubi and Ose Shirie Bempa shared 15 votes. Now Jima has more in the following report.
All delegates, after the introduction of the aspirants in the NPP primary, were made to pledge support for whoever is elected as parliamentary candidate. The aspirants for the primary were also made to pledge unity after the election. Issues of vote buying leveled against aspirants were openly denied. Mr. Kojo alerted the police to arrest any individual who attempted to make their ballot open.
And this is one some of can I am draw me boa. Abana Ebabatono, MPP Diawuni, Yadesiano, Obia Betua Manibiano, Yenina Cabo Meboa.
Delegates were called in turns to cast their ballot. After about 2 hours, all 419 delegates had cast their ballots.
Based on the results, we hereby declare Ernest Yao Enim as the elected parliamentary candidate for the Kumawu by-elections.
The elected parliamentary candidate, Ernest Yao Enim, called on all contestants to support his bid to win the Kumawu by-election.
From this moment, I dissolve my campaign team and I'm committed to forming an inclusive campaign team that will bring together everyone from the divide so that we can collectively fight for the battle ahead of us. I know my people believe in my vision, and my vision is to bring everyone together. And I believe that as we are committed to ensuring peace, everybody following me will be shaped in line, and we would all come together and understand that this victory is not just for Ernest Yao Enim or my group, but for everybody who is a party member of our great party here. I know my people believe in me, and they are committed to ensuring that we work together as one unit. I believe that once we work as a unit, victory will be our portion. Kumawu, as we all know, is an MPP seat, and once party members are committed to ensuring that we are working together, I believe that victory would be on a silver platter for us.
The losing candidates have reiterated their support for the NPP candidate.
It was a close contest, but MPP is the winner. We have a winner. I congratulate Ernest. And like we said, we pledge to support him. I'm happy he has won. Congrats to him.
Congratulations to Ernest. He's done it. He's done it for Kumawu. We will all support him. It was a good experience. I mean, it's my first time, and I think I made a little bit of impact, but all the best to Ernest, and we will all support him to take the seat to retain the seat. So congratulations to Ernest.
MPP Nadine Kunim, Kumawu Nadine Kunim, Minimsa way, adding Kamu, Ababa and I am. Now, Mr. Pledge support. At the Mammy Penny, Ernest Yao Enim.
For Joy News, Nana Yaojima, Kumawu.
Now, one of the conceptions in the public domain about the Anopheles stevensii mosquito has been its ability to withstand extreme temperatures. But is it really true? In the second of our series on unraveling the Anopheles stevensii, Joy News medical correspondent Dr. Netta Pasram looks at the insect temperature resilience. He spoke to Dr. Kingsley Badu, Vice President, Pan-African Mosquito Control Association of Ghana.
What time is it? 7:30. Time the Anopheles stevensii is usually out. We've already spoken about the peak biting times of the Anopheles stevensii, that is from 6 p.m. to around 9 p.m. But is it just about the peak biting time? What about temperature? We have heard that it's able to withstand high temperatures. Really?
For extreme temperature, I'm not sure we can say it is adapted to extreme temperatures. What we do know from knowledge available is the fact that it has high tolerance. I mean, the spectrum of tolerance for temperature is broader compared to that of the Anopheles gambiae. For example, it's been reported that it's able to endure temperatures about 3.4 degrees Celsius lower and higher than that of the Anopheles gambiae. So which means that if Anopheles gambiae is able to survive somewhere 16, 17 degrees Celsius, is able to go lower, 3.4 degrees lower than that. And if Anopheles gambiae is able to survive 33, 34, 35 degrees Celsius, it's capable of going 3.4 degrees Celsius above that. And so, I mean, perhaps that gives it the ability to adapt to broad conditions of temperature. And perhaps one of the reasons why it's able to invade Africa coming from.
So, protect yourself against the Anopheles stephensi mosquito by sleeping under insecticide-treated mosquito nets, wearing long clothing, making use of insect repellents, and using indoor residual spraying. For Joy News, Dr. Detta Pasram.
Well, moving on to other stories. It will interest you to know that Muslim Ghanaians in Dubai use the Ramadan season to seek God's intervention for the growth of our country. With the current economic turmoil, many of these Ghanaian students join locals of Sharjah at Al Qasimiyya University to pray for a turnaround for the country. My colleague Jackson Osei, who has been monitoring events closely from the United Arab Emirates, narrates how some of these students expressed optimism that their call to Allah about Ghana will yield results.
Eid Fitr is being celebrated across the whole world. Today, Joy News, we are here at Al Qasimiyya University in Sharjah State in the UAE. We've come to talk to some of our Ghanaian brothers here in the university. We want to find out how education is ongoing here and even how the whole fasting went for them. What are the benefits they got to from the fasting, and also how education or everything here in the UAE is treating them. We want to find out if they are ready to come back to Ghana to help with the knowledge they've acquired here in Al Qasimiyya University, or they would want to go to a different country.
So far, I would say Alhamdulillah, it's been great. Because, getting the opportunity to travel outside and study, not everybody gets the opportunity, so we are thankful, inshallah. If we come, do they use us? No. If you put us in position that we can affect change, I think we are all happy to help because it's our country. If it's good for all of us. If it's bad for all of us. So if you put us in places to affect changes, I think it will help. But the problem is when you come back, there are no opportunities for you. So you come back and then continue your life where you left off. So that's the problem we are facing. Give the youth the opportunity. Because there are people who have ideas, who have many things to contribute to the economy, to the nation, on building the country, things we learn outside. But there are no opportunities. So if you don't have the opportunity, you cannot do anything. So you'll just be sitting there doing nothing. In Ghana, I keep praying. All things will be possible. Things are possible. Things will be possible. We just have to keep praying and then working hard towards our goal. Everything will be fine, inshallah. As for me personally, let's see where the lower life takes us, inshallah. I cannot say for sure. But if life takes us back to Ghana, inshallah, we are happy to contribute to the nation. If it takes us somewhere else, maybe someday we come back and contribute some other way.
My name is Haruna Saibo from Ghana, the northern part of Ghana, Tamale. We are at Al Qasimiyya University in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. I came here in the year 2019, 4 years now. We give thanks to the Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to begin the fasting right from the beginning up to the end of it, which ended yesterday. And today marks, the first of Shawwal, which is, the happiest day of, all Muslims across the globe. We have come today, to thank the Almighty Allah for making the Ramadan possible for us, and we also come here to thank the Almighty Allah for, for His bounties and for His blessings upon us and all Muslims across the globe. Actually, comparing the system here to that of the system in Ghana, I would say that maybe because of technology, I would say that the system here is a little bit better, compared to the level of technology here, the advancement in technology. Because we come and realize that when we started online classes, online lectures, we came to realize that we are lacking behind. As Africans, we are lacking behind. As people who doesn't know how to use the technology or the methodology of teaching and learning, in our online teaching and learning. But right now we are getting used to the system, that is the online teaching and learning system. We extend our greetings to our brothers and sisters in Ghana, all Muslims, all brothers and sisters in Ghana. We also thank especially people, who came to who put barakah in our lives, people who change our lives, especially where we are standing right now, Al-Kashmir University. Our thanks goes to the financier. Our thanks goes to the founder of this university, Dr. Muhammad Sultan Abdul Qasim. May Allah bless him and bless his entire family.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Abdurrahman Rahimov from Uzbekistan. Ramadan is very nice and beautiful in UAE because all things we can do, and as a student we have scholarship, and there is no any issue with food and other things, and actually I prefer to eat fruits and some liquids like water or other things, and they are also different in UAE. So there is no any issue with fasting, alhamdulillah. A happy Ramadan for all. I wish all the best for you, and taqabbalallah minna minkum. Hayat mubarak bo'lsin, hammamizdan Alloh rozi bo'lsin.
Prayer for the Eid al-Fitr has come to an end at Al-Kashmir University here at Sharjah in the UAE. We got to talk to some of our brothers from Ghana, and they've made us know what would go into this Eid al-Fitr celebration, and also what they expect from Ghanaians, even as they are here in someone's state. Reporting from Al-Kashmir University here in Sharjah in the UAE. My name is Jackson Osei Tiamo. Join me.
And I am Samuel Kojo here in Accra. Now, Ashanti Regional Minister has advised the Muslim youth to conduct themselves righteously to reduce the worrying trend of deviant practices which hamper national development. Simon Osemensen's admonition comes at the heels of increase in teenage pregnancy, thievery, cybercrime, and substance abuse among the youth. He encouraged the community to ensure peaceful coexistence. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was at the Kumasi Central Mosque and reports hundreds of Muslims in the metropolis thronged the premises for the congregational prayer.
The Regional Minister blames the spate of deviant behaviors on child negligence, leniency of parental control, and streetism. He urged Muslims to reflect on the essence of the Eid celebration, to conduct themselves righteously in ensuring tranquility and development.
I wish to draw your attention to some other social cankers that have remained a bane in our society. Of much interest to me are the issues of teenage pregnancy, substance abuse, cybercrime, armed robbery, which have reached alarming proportions in our communities. Let me say that some of these deviant behaviors are developed because of child delinquencies, lack of parental care and control, as well as streetism, which were unchecked during early childhood development. Let us use this occasion to reflect on how we can conduct ourselves better for the benefit of the nation. Our conduct should guide the younger generations to shun vengeance, violence, indiscipline, and other negative attitudes.
Representative of the Asante-Hene, Nana Abdul Rahman Bodi, is worried over the affiliation of the Muslim community to misdemeanors in the country.
Juan Musa Mohammed, Ibrahim Tanku, Juan Tiababu Bahari Aquacobo, Kwakuyabu Abako Afra, and Zongo Paninfu in Yinala. Miss Lamo near him for Mimiamo Hemfo, I'm a batomo in Yinala, Miss Lamo, Monemo Mano Etna, Namono Moa Tuamofo. Reports
suggest the emergence of jihadist activities in neighboring countries, with about 200 Ghanaians integrated into 4 notorious jihadist groups operating in West Africa. Deputy Director of Counter-Terrorism at the National Security, Daniel Osebonso, prevailed on the Muslim community to support the government to curtail jihadist activities.
Gone are the days when people came to live with us and they went to the elders to seek for advice or seek for permission. Now it's done no more. So we have engaged the leaders that they should pay attention, given that there is an emergence of jihadist activities around us. But we know that the bond and the security we have created in this country, it remains robust and resilient. Hence, we require your cooperation. We require that you support us so that some of our brothers and sisters will not be recruited. We are here to ensure that we build Ghana together with you. National security cannot do the job alone. We need you.
Some Muslim youth welcomed the message, advising their brethren not to fall prey to such social misbehaviors.
What I have to say to them is we have to bring ourselves down and keep on praying that, hoping that inshallah it shall be well. Yeah, giving yourself out so cheap wouldn't be something that will help in the future.
When the youth are educated as to what to do, and when they are engaged in so many things, it abstains them from indulging themselves in illegal activities.
People decide not to go to school and then they want to force on them. If someone decides not to go to school, there are other options. You can let the person learn other works. But then if you tend to force school on them, and they don't want it, they will end up following bad friends, skipping school, doing a lot of stuff.
If everybody talk to him, chat inside the house, so I believe inshallah outside we cannot get any cases like the way the Otunfo distant Chami talking about.
The Eid al-Fitr celebration is marked by Muslims globally to end the holy month of Ramadan. The month-long prayers and fasting is traditionally climaxed with observatory prayers for all Muslims, after which families gather to share meals, exchange gifts, and engage in charitable acts. We thank God for a new year. We are going home to make merry. We will pray to God to bless us with long life and prosperity. I'll be preparing tuzafi for my husband and his friends. Happy Eid to everyone. There are a lot of foods and drinks at home. Everyone is invited.
So for the Muslim community here in the Ashanti region, they are grateful to Allah for a successful Ramadan. They are hoping the new year brings in peace, joy, and prosperity. From here at the Kumasi Central Mosque, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Kweku. Eid Mubarak.
From Kumasi, let's take you to the Upper West region, where Muslims in that region joined their fellow Muslims in the country to celebrate this year's Eid al-Fitr festival. They were joined by Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz Ben Sali, who called for support for the government in the fight against illegal mining, corruption, and integrate climate change policies in the PR plan of the region. Join News' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam was at the Jujidayeri Basic School Garden, where worshippers of the Ahmadiyya movement observed the congregational prayer.
The 2 rakat open congregational prayer of worshippers of the Ahmadiyya Muslim faith took place at the Jujidayeri Basic School Garden. It came on the heels of the successful completion of fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, where they joined fellow Muslims from the Ummah to abstain from eating, drinking, and other social vices prohibited by Islam from dawn to dusk. Several thousands of the worshippers, the young and the old, including persons with mobility challenges, majority of whom dressed in white apparel, trooped to the gardens for the congregational prayer and sermon. The prayer was led by the Upper Regional Missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Maulvi Masroor Muzaffar Chowdhury Ahmed. The prayer was accompanied by the sermon of the Ahmadiyya Regional Missionary, urging the worshippers not to relapse but continue with their prayers and humble supplication to Allah.
Ramadan is teaching us that when we make friendship, love with Almighty Allah, it shouldn't be a month love or some few days love. It should be a continue. So if we want to enjoy the blessings of Almighty Allah, this Ramadan is telling us that we should build our relation forever, not for some few days.
Upper Sujan Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali noted that Islam is a religion of peace, and thus the teaching of the Prophet of Islam should unite its members to advance with modernity and civilization. He assured Muslims in the country of the commitment of the government to resolving some key challenges they are facing.
The government of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is committed to ensuring that no individual is left behind in the forward march of our country. In this vein, the government has assured Muslim leaders of its commitment to resolving matters of concern to the Muslim community, such as religious discrimination, marriage legislation, and teaching Arabic in our schools.
Dr. bin Sali, however, is seeking for the support of Muslims to enable them to deliver on their promises and also to fight corruption.
On our part, we need your full cooperation in the battle against Galamsey and improving the well-being of our people. We must focus our regional development intervention and invest in quality education and healthcare services. We must all continue to fight against corruption and integrate climate change policies into our planning processes as a region.
Some of the congregants share their thoughts on the holy month of Ramadan and the lessons learned.
So having gone through this exercise, it has brought us closer to our Creator. And that means we should always try as much as possible to sustain that relationship that we have had with our Creator in this month throughout the entire period of our lives. It is not a period that is isolated, which ends after the fasting. We have to sustain it.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, that we've come to the end of a successful fasting period. There are a lot of lessons to learn from this fasting, and I hope that the Muslim community will abide with all the things that we have learned during this fasting. This is not the first time we have been doing it, and we hope that it will have an impact in our life, so that other people who are not Muslims will see that Islam is a very nice religion.
I feel light. I feel like there's a Holy Spirit living in me because I've fasted for like 30 days. So I feel light. I feel like Allah is in me. So that is the lessons I've learned, and a lot of things has changed in my life. Now I feel more close to God. My relationship with God is very tight for now. So Ramadan is very good. The 30 days is very awesome.
Reporting for the news, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And if you are my friend and you've not invited me over for some of the food, kindly do. I'm waiting for you. We'll take a break here. We'll bring you business afterwards. Stay with us.
To business. My name is Darryl Kwao. As Muslims across the world observe Eid al-Fitr festivities, which mark the end of the month of Ramadan, some dressmakers in the Techima municipality of the Bono East region are lamenting low patronage as customers are struggling to cope with higher prices and rising costs of new clothing. They say the current global economic downturn, coupled with the high cost of electricity, is having a toll on their trade. Correspondent Anna Sabit has more.
The cost of living crisis continues to severely impact lives, putting financial pressure on many individuals, families and communities, and tailors and seamstresses are not left out as prices of sewing materials continue to skyrocket, thereby affecting their trade. As Muslims mark the Eid al-Fitr festivities, tailors usually make a lot of money during this period, but the situation isn't the same this year, as they say the rising cost of materials is adversely affecting their tailoring businesses. Salu Mekankan is the CEO of MKK Executive Fabrics.
Ana ciki dai kaman kan da aka saba sai godiya. Amma misalan ne gaskiya kaya yayi tsada.
Our customers are complaining due to the rising cost of materials. Everything in terms of the materials we use in line of our work is being sold at higher prices at this time around, and so our job is affected in diverse ways. He noted that some clients are unable to pay for their items after they are being sewn due to the high cost of materials.
Some clients
are unable to pay for their items after we are done with them due to the cost involved. Isaac Nsietabiru tells me that aside the high cost of materials, the sharp rise in electricity tariffs is also contributing to their hardships.
Hey, light today. Hey, light today.
The cost of electricity these days is higher, and our machines are being powered by electricity, so we spend a lot in purchase of power. Yes, we have no choice but to buy, but we are appealing to them to do something about it. Abakar Omar on his part says several others who wish to have new clothes for the Eid are being forced to celebrate the Eid festivities with old clothing due to the high cost of materials in the market.
Game da batun sadan kaya komai yayi sanani a nan Ghana. Komai abinda kasan ana sayarwa a last year ana sayar da shi at least mu roke shi kamar 60 Ghana.
The prices of goods in the country have skyrocketed. What used to be sold at 60 Ghana cedis a year ago is now times 2. So life is hard these days. There are others who are currently being forced to put on their old clothing because they can't afford new ones. They are all appealing to those in authority to come to their aid by helping stabilize the economy.
Dole din ka ji akwai daidai naka dai amma batun kudi ne karfi ya gane
ai so mun waye ne yantin no man suka krama yi and they are this ready to ben ko nimpa no ai.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichima.
Now, Ghana's nuclear power program has been left idle nearly 60 years since independence in 1957. In 2008, Cabinet took a decision to include nuclear energy in the country's energy generation mix and pave the way for its inclusion in the National Energy Policy and Strategy. This led to the establishment of the Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization to oversee the implementation and coordination of the nuclear power program. Over the weekend, Nuclear Power Ghana and Ghana Atomic Energy Commission held a two-day engagement at the Ho Technical University in the Volta region to share knowledge. Here's more in this report.
A major research of nuclear research in the mid-1950s showed that nuclear energy could produce electricity for commercial use. Nuclear Power Ghana and the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission held a two-day engagement with the faculty and students of Ho Technical University to share knowledge, connect and learn opportunities in nuclear energy and to demystify the myth associated with nuclear energy. The two institutions entered into a tripartite memorandum of understanding on the 15th September 2022. The Director of Planning and Quality Assurance at the Ho Technical University, Engineer Dr. Mahwese Nyatuame, in addressing the students, said plans are far advanced to introduce a curriculum in nuclear power.
For ACU, what we intend to do as part of the agreement is to build capacity. So we are already been started looking at a curriculum on nuclear power. That is going to be run. We're going to be a foundation course. Just like we run PQ. I know some of you remember PQ. What is PQ? Decision quality. I went through that. We're going to be compulsory for the second years. So we're doing a foundation course.
The Director, Nuclear Power Institute of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Sadebra, assured the general public that the use of nuclear power is safe.
If nuclear, I've worked with the nuclear fraternity for 15 years. So my first assignment as a national service person was at the Pompanoti Teaching Hospital, where I did more radiotherapy calculations. Because I'm a physicist, I did more radiotherapy calculations to cure people of cancer. And we use nuclear technologies to do that. You go to the hospital, we use X-rays. It's been something we've been using in this country, even in the industry. You go to the hospitals, everywhere you go, there are applications of nuclear. The only place we've not stepped as a country is power. And it's just a natural progression into power. We've taken all the precautionary measures. We are not doing this in isolation as Ghana. We are doing this in consultation and in partnership with the International Atomic Energy Agency to make sure that we do this and we do this right. Because they are the UN arm that is responsible to make sure that the framework is laid out and countries are actually following the framework. We've already gone through what we call the integrated nuclear infrastructure review missions. The first one and the follow-up for phase 1 of this program actually have 3 phases. So we've already done with phase 1, and we've had very good reviews from the International Atomic Energy Agency and other international bodies that we are working with. So the message simply is this: we are safe as a country. We need to do this as a country. If we want to propel ourselves as a developed country, as an industrialized country, we cannot actually overlook nuclear. We need to do this because our hydro resources are almost gone. Solar or the renewable resources are not stable enough. We need a new base load. It's either we go coal, which we know we are not familiar and we don't actually like, or we go nuclear. So if we want to survive as a people, we need to go nuclear. We are not the only country doing this. There are other African countries.
Public Affairs Manager of Nuclear Power Ghana, Bellona Gerard Victor Kwao, expressed her excitement at the level of awareness.
It shows me that the level of awareness even has gone a lot deeper. It wasn't so much what is in need for them, but what contributions they can make. And I think it's a very positive thing to note, that what contributions they can make as against what they will gain from it. So with this background, it makes it a lot better for us to move them on to the next level as to what benefits they will get from it, not only as individual, but as an institution. And it is that collective support we look for in attaining the social license, which is a requirement for the nuclear power plant.
Some of the students shared their experiences after the program.
So they always say that catch them young. So them bringing this program to HT was a great opportunity for us today to also know actually what is going on in the country. And also when they spoke about this nuclear something, we all thought it was something like atomic bomb, just as compared to Russia, how they used to produce bomb and others. But at the end of the program, we got to know that it is an energy that will give us the same electricity that the hydroelectric also produces. So it is a good feeling, and it is our prayer that it comes to stay. It shouldn't just be a teaching that should be going on in the country, but it should also be something that will be inculcated in all other institutions, which will help us to be able to generate more energy for Ghana to be on a safer side.
Ivy Satoji, Joy News, Ho.
And that's business. The marketplace is in a minute. Handing you back to Kojo Base.
Well, thank you, Daryl. And that's how we wrap up today's bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Praise to enjoy the rest of our bulletins. Good afternoon.